Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for those that are here live. And I know that a lot of people reached out and said that they would be looking at the recording later. So welcome if you're watching the recording of this. Super excited to be delivering this webinar today. And I just want to go over a couple of little things and share a few things. So first of all, if you haven't met me before, my name is Holly Hayes. And this is the first webinar that I am delivering under this umbrella on this topic, mood, mindset, and moving forward. I am not new to webinars, however. At the beginning of 2020, I had to pivot a in-person waxing training program to get it all online in overnight, basically, in a matter of a week, okay? So I like this story for a lot of reasons, but it really challenged me. Number one, I didn't know the technology. I mean, I'm fairly tech savvy, I would like to say, but I didn't know the technology. I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know how to control all the things that were going on because I was running it completely independently on my own. The second thing is I didn't have any materials created for that type of learning environment, because at the beginning of the pandemic, if we can remember, we've tried to block it out, no doubt. I obviously couldn't have a model with me to do the waxing on. So it had to be just like this, a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm talking to people about something that's a very practical skill that they would need to be doing on their model, but I'm talking them through it. So the whole experience was very challenging. And I remember having a conversation with my team, and we said, just run them, just put something together, just run them. Even if you get 2 people there or 1 person, what's the difference between 1 and 2 really? You're still connecting with people that you potentially may never have connected with before. And that was my expectation. So I thought maybe there would be 1 or 2 people that would show up for these webinars. And the first one was a little bit, slow to get started, just like anything new that you try. You launch a business, you're not going to probably have 100 people knocking down your door when it's a new idea and a new concept. And secondly, it then grew after that first one to a point that I had people locked out of the room. So the technology that we had invested in wasn't big enough. We needed to buy a bigger room. We needed to run multiple sessions in order to fit everyone in. And it really took off. And that was through word of mouth. Okay, so obviously people said, this is great training, like you need to get on there. And then we had people banging down the door, the Zoom door, trying to get in the room, and we're locked out. So it's amazing really what you can achieve when you put your heart and soul into it, and you believe in yourself, and you believe in the product or the knowledge that you're sharing, and word will spread. So goes without saying, I'm going to be talking about a lot of uplifting things today. So here we are, and I can't wait to share all of this with you. So just a little bit more about me and how I came to this point. So obviously coming from beauty background, aesthetics background, was an educator for almost 10 years, internationally recognized, traveling the world, teaching people, you guessed it, Brazilian waxing. Okay, so now if you're looking for that presentation, you're in the wrong room. There will be no nudity in this one. So what this is all about is that I went on my own journey at the end of 2020 after having that really successful year with online training and pushing myself to places that I never thought I would get to, and never thought it would have the success it did. I really started to think, wow, I want to do something different. I want to make an impact in a different way. I mean, I love the beauty industry, I love aesthetics, but I have done it for so long. And this brought me to here because I then spent 2021 working on my knowledge, my wisdom, basically becoming a student of life, without sounding too cheesy, but really just kind of doing some self-discovery and just figuring out like what is going to be next for me. How can I help people? How can I serve people in a way that, they'll remember my name and I can potentially change their life? Now, I have been able to do that before because the feedback from my students, and shout out to any of my past waxing students that are here with me today, but they literally say things like, what you taught me changed my life, not just my career, my life. And I was like, wow, through waxing, like I really did that through just making people better at waxing. So if I can do that, I do really think I believe I can do anything now. And stay with me because I'm going to share a lot of valuable content today. One thing I really don't like about any sort of free online learning is that when people hold back on the value, because I believe that if you put everything out there and really give it your best go, people will find you. Your ideal clients will find you. If you don't know who your ideal clients are, you need to start thinking about what they look like. The more specific you get about what your clients look like, then you will find that they'll be finding you a lot quicker as well. So I really am excited, if you can't tell, and a bit nervous. So that gets me to why I changed the time today. So here's a story. I originally had this planned for 1:30 and I moved it to 3 hours later. So couple of reasons. First of all, and this is what we're going to get into a little bit today, talking about just getting in touch with your own intuition, your feeling around things. I got a internal message that said, intuitive message that said, move the time to 4:30. And I was like, first of all, I was like, oh, is that going to let people down? Is that, going to affect my attendance? But I didn't really think about it. I just moved the time. The other thing I was doing, that was a blessing, that message, because the other thing that was happening with me was a big case of imposter syndrome. So I was starting to get the nerves. I was starting to get who am I to talk about this? Am I good enough to do this? Do I know my stuff enough to do this? And I actually have been all week going through a 5-day challenge with Tony Robbins. And a lot of these thoughts have been coming up for me, of course, because when you're about to have any breakthrough, all these messages of doubt are going to come in, of course, right? So I was going through the imposter syndrome thing again. And then when I got the intuitive message, move it to 4:30, I was like, great, that buys me time to just kind of get in my Zen, focus, and deliver the best presentation you've ever delivered in your whole entire life. Okay. So the point is, everybody goes through this. I've done these webinars with my absolute eyes closed, literally, because I used to not have myself on screen because that's how nervous I was. When I was just delivering a PowerPoint presentation, I didn't have my camera on, and the content and what was flowing out of me, I literally could sit there with my eyes closed and still get the message across and connect with my audience. Okay. So just know that whatever you're trying to achieve, people that have gone through the same things and started at the beginning of anything, because everything starts at the beginning, right? Whether it's a business, a relationship, whatever it is, life starts at the beginning, right? They too have felt nerves. They too have felt fear. They too have doubted themselves. Okay. So the point is, you've got to just take the leap and go for it. At the very least, you're going to learn something, right? So stick with me. Now, what I do like to do, and I actually did used to do this on my waxing webinars as well, but because it was a different industry, I wouldn't do them out loud. I would just do a little mantra or a little affirmation at the beginning of my webinar to wish that my audience, connected with me, or during those early stages of the pandemic, just wish that I could add some joy into someone's day when they literally couldn't be earning an income, or whatever it might be on that day. But now I'm in the mindset space, and all of the things we're going to be talking about, I feel it's a little bit more relevant to have my intention on screen and go through that with you. So my intention for this webinar is that for all of us to be happy, loved, and free in 2022. And again, that was an intuitive message that came through to me. And the loved part is self-love, to be honest. We're our own worst critics all the time. And sometimes the way we talk to ourselves in our mind, if there was a megaphone on those thoughts and the whole world heard the way we talk to ourselves sometimes when we're in that fight or flight, when we're in that fear, when we're in that self-doubt, If there was a megaphone on those thoughts and the general public heard what we said to ourselves, what do you think about that? Do you think we would be institutionalized? Because I know sometimes the things that go through my mind, like this imposter syndrome of like, are you good enough to do this? Do you belong in this space? Are people going to listen? Are you going to change someone's life today? Are you just wasting your time? It all went through my head. And I just had to reframe that to, yes, I am enough. I am doing this with the right intentions because I want to impact. Again, back to how I started in 2020 doing those webinars. If I can impact one person with this video, and if this does change you in any way, or a plants a seed or a light bulb goes off, please let me know, because I will know I'm on the right track. And if you hate it, let me know too, because that will also tell me that I need to change what I'm doing. Because the point is, I'm here to serve you. So if you don't get value out of this, then what's the point of me doing it, right? I've already gone through all of this and basically put together my own spin on it, as I like to do with anything that I teach, because I have been a teacher for a long time now. So I just called it the Holly Hayes method because this is unique to me. This is my unique take on manifestation, mindset, improving your life, right? And mood was something that kind of came to me later in the piece. So I've been working through, manifestation, various different courses around that, and really, doubling down on that knowledge and creating the life of my wildest dreams, which is still a work in progress, let me tell you, but I have had some success. And with success, I like to share. I'm a natural born sharer, because what's the point of me just keeping all of this in here to create my beautiful life and be like, hey, you seem like you're a little bit down or you're having a bit of a problem. Let me share this with you. And so the easiest way to obviously get to the masses is to show up on screen and do this. So mood came to me later in the piece because I've somewhat thought of myself as a fairly positive person generally. I mean, we all have bad days. No one's going to be in a good mood 24/7, but I'm a pretty fairly positive person. I can always kind of find a silver lining in situations. What I started to realize is that a lot of people, particularly the last 2 years, have kind of been living in a very low vibration, very low mood. And yes, we can blame the external circumstances, but reality is, to change anything, you need to change what's inside first, and then that will reflect in your external world, right? So mood, so important. And what things affect our mood? The food we eat, what we drink, whether that be dehydrating for us or hydrating for us, the lack of movement in our body, our physical environment. So if you're currently watching my webinar and have great high hopes of, creating some sort of success this week, and you are literally surrounded by clutter, papers, post-it notes, you might want to look at that. Again, external world reflects our internal world, and internal world reflects our external world. It works both ways, right? So the first thing that we can work on is clearing the clutter and clearing that external environment. So then that's a reflection of what we feel inside, right? Mindfulness as well. So again, just pulling yourself back into that mindfulness, being connected to yourself, to your higher self, which I can really say has really kicked into gear for me the last few weeks. And I've just been getting these intuitive messages left, right, and center. And sometimes they don't make logical sense. So the more in tune you are with your higher self and your intuition, then you will be able to follow that inspired action, because a lot of the time it won't make sense. And then more to come on that. I have lots more to say on that, but I do respect everyone's time. So I want to just keep kind of moving today. And I've already decided that, because I had so much fun making this presentation, I've already decided that I want these webinars, these free 1-hour webinars, to be a regular thing. So whether that looks like once a month, once a week, I'm not sure yet, but if you enjoy this, there's going to be more of it to come. And again, it's absolutely free value, right? I want everyone to unlock their true potential. So your mood boost. First thing, if we're going to manifest, if we're going to take a big step forward in our business next week, if we're going to go on a date, initiating a new romantic relationship or whatever it is, we need to be in a good mood, wouldn't you think? We could at least try and do the best things to be in a positive state, a higher vibration, so that we will get the outcome that we want. So obviously, if I turned up today and I was like, hi, everyone, happy Sunday. Thank you for coming to my webinar and can't wait to talk you through my slides, then I don't think I'd have your attention for very long, would I? Because I'd be in a low mood, a low state, right? And my message just wouldn't deliver the same. So always smile, right? Even when you're on the phone, smile. The person on the other end can hear a smile. So it'll brighten their day. If you're trying to make a sale or it's a business call, of course, you want to smile when you pick up the phone, right? So a couple of quick ones. I mean, seems obvious, but again, or common sense, but again, I don't know how common sense is anymore, or, sometimes we're just so buried in our own stuff that's going on. We really neglect the simple things. So these are the ways that I've found to boost my mood quite quickly. So eating some greens. Now, that can just be incorporated into the next meal that you have. Add broccoli on the side, add some green peas, some green beans, whatever it is, add green. So every time I have a meal, I add something green. Eat breakfast, yes, avocado or spinach, I add. And then lunch or dinner, I just try and add some green leafy vegetables. Just to, again, it looks pretty on my plate and it makes me feel better. It nourishes my body, right? Hydration. We're always so dehydrated, right? I'm guilty of this. I love coffee. I used to drink probably 4 or 5 coffees a day. I love the taste. Quite addicted to caffeine, yes. And we're just not hydrated enough. So a lot of the times we are looking to grab food or snacks, and really we just need to have a glass of water. So again, seems simple, but just remember remembering to keep your fluids up to yourself and stay hydrated. Gratitude blaster. Okay, I love this one. I tried this yesterday. So yesterday morning I woke up and I was like, okay, today's going to be a good day. And then I went around my apartment and everything I could see out my window and physically in my apartment, and I expressed gratitude for it all. So the first thing, if you are doing this first thing in the morning, the first thing you should be grateful for is just waking up on that day, because that's a gift, right? I woke up today. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to wake up today. Then I went around and I was like, thank you for my dream catcher that, catches my dreams. Thank you for this bed. It's so comfortable. Thank you for the feeling of these sheets. They are so soft and they help me to have a better night's sleep. Thank you for the amazing view that I have of the English Bay, of the ocean, right? Thank you for the clouds. Thank you for the sky. Thank you for my plants that are healthy. Thank you for the beautiful flooring in my apartment. I really love the feeling of when I step on it. And I just went around and I just blasted gratitude. And you know what? I had a great day yesterday, right? So it's all just reframing every situation. You can do that anytime to get you out of a funk. Literally just put all tools down, go for a walk, which covers the next one. Take a walk if you're in a bad mood, and just express gratitude. So I'm grateful for the grass. I'm grateful for the sand. I'm grateful for the sky, the clouds, the sun, the rain. I'm grateful for the rain. It makes everything green, right? So little things. It's always the little things with this stuff. That's what you're going to learn. If you do stick with me on this journey and you attend some more of these classes, you're going to learn that everything in life, it's the little things, the little steps that you take each day that will change your life. Okay. So along with take a walk, just dance, just sing. So if you're in a funk, turn on your favorite song. That works so easy, right? Turn on your favorite song and then suddenly you're like, oh, I don't know where that bad mood went, right? Clear the clutter. I already spoke about that one. If you're in a funk, tools down. Okay, how about I just compile these papers that are cluttering my desk and either throw them out or put them into a folder and put them into the cupboard. At least that way they're not around me, right? Even if you've got a bit of clutter in the cupboard, Still not ideal, but you'll get there one day. But just clearing the clutter from what you can see around you when you look at your physical environment, right? Convince yourself that you are happy. Now, this is not false, fake positivity, none of that, none of that fake positivity, but remembering, as I said at the beginning, self-talk is very important. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a failure, I'm useless, I'm unlovable, or whatever it is, obviously that is going to affect your mood. Not only just your mood, that will affect your entire life. But even if, you're just having that bad day, try and see the good things in it. Try and tell yourself that tomorrow will be better to get out of that funk, and just really increasing that positive self-talk. Very, very important to improve your mood. The next thing is mindset. So this is my favorite topic, I think, out of everything that I talk about. Mindset. I can't talk about this enough, right? And it's such a buzzword, right? Growth mindset. If you go on LinkedIn, like everything's about mindset, being in a growth mindset, which so many people still aren't. And it really will, again, affect your external reality, right? So the subconscious mind, when I found out this fact, it blew my mind, literally. The subconscious mind influences 95% of your reality. And only 5% of the conscious mind impacts your reality, right? So conscious mind is consciously, I'm saying, hey, everyone on this webinar, you're going to have a great time because I'm consciously telling you that these are the things that are happening, right? The subconscious is where things get locked away. So how we access the subconscious is through various tools, which I will share. And this is how we can unlearn and decondition our subconscious mind, because that's where the real magic happens, right? So it's the things that we subconsciously take on. So obviously, as children, the environment that we're growing up in, and from 0 to 7 is actually when most of our development happens, right? And where we take on the beliefs of our caregivers. So if you're in an environment where there's lots of chaos and arguing or aggression, anger, subconsciously, you are taking all of those beliefs and experiences of your caregivers on, right? Which will impact how we develop as a teenager and then into an adult. So the point is, it's not to be mad at our caregivers that like, oh, I have this subconscious belief because like, you're like this, so now I'm like this because of you. And that's not the point at all. And again, I get a lot more deeper into this stuff in my other workshops, but just to give you the idea today, it's that the subconscious mind can be reprogrammed. But the first thing is we need to become conscious of those thoughts to reprogram them, and then we put them back into the subconscious mind, right? Crazy stuff. Really works, particularly if you are trying to manifest a specific outcome that you want. You can't just do that through consciously telling yourself. It has to be deeply buried in the subconscious, and then it will come true, right? So I just covered that, unlearned and deconditioned. For many of us, that's what needs to happen, right? Because the mindset is not just like, okay, I'm suddenly today just going to have a positive mindset. I'm going to forget about everything that I did over the last, 30 years or however old you are, right? That's not quite how it works. You need to unlearn and decondition before you can then put in the new thoughts and beliefs, right? So that's how we get into removing negative thought patterns and beliefs. It's going from the I can and I will, going from the I can't to the I can and I will. Because that story that you tell yourself every single day, consciously and subconsciously, will impact your reality. When you get your head around this stuff and when this starts to sink in, if it's the first time you're hearing this, don't worry. You will hear me repeat this to you in every webinar. And it's not a point to say, oh, I know, and she, always talks about this. The point is, the more I'm saying it to you, that's how you condition the mind, right? So this is what we need to know. We need to know, yes, I can, and yes, I will. And here's how. Because when you start to reprogram that way, that's when you'll see the shifts in your life. And that's exactly what happens for me, right? Because energy goes where attention flows. So everything is energy. And when we get into talking about manifestation, everything is also a manifestation. So when you say, I want to manifest $1,000 bonus this month, that's conscious manifestation. Subconscious manifestation is the story that you've been telling yourself of like, well, I'm never going to get that raise because I'm not good enough at work, or I'm never going to get that bonus because good things never happen to me. And that's probably subconsciously buried in there somewhere, right? But that's also a manifestation. So whatever's showing up in your life, good or bad, is a manifestation. And it comes from conscious and subconscious beliefs. But where do we want to spend the time working? On the subconscious mind, because it influences 95% of your reality. Can you get your head around that number? I can consciously tell myself, I am amazing, I am great, I am amazing, I am great. And going back to the mood improving and telling yourself affirmations, convincing yourself that you're happy, that you're great, that's conscious. That's only going to shift 5% of my reality. What's that really going to shift? Yeah, I might have a good day that day, but it's not going to change my life, is it? Starting to make sense now, I hope. So the internal reflects the external. I already went over this multiple times. And positive self-talk and self-love. Again, think of the megaphone example. They're going to say, okay, we need assistance over here. She needs to be institutionalized because the things that she's saying are crazy. And the things that she's saying, nobody else believes but her. This is what you've got to remember too. No one else has those thoughts about you except you. So where does it need to change from? From me, from within, out, right? And affirmations. So again, I am enough, I am worthy, I am happy, I am healthy, I am safe, I am successful, I am rich, whatever it is that you want. And again, using all these tools combined is how you're going to shift the mindset, right? So over here, where we see you'll start to shift your reality, right? Because if you believe it, you can see it. And if your thoughts match your desired outcome, that's when you'll have it. But there's a lot of reprogramming that needs to go on. And I'm going to give you some tools, right? So how to shift your mindset long-term. As I was just saying, you can tell yourself, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. That's only going to change 5%, 5%, okay? And that's going to wear off. It's not sustainable, is it? So here's some things that I have had success with to change my mindset. Visualization. This is so powerful. If you know me on any sort of level, you know I'm a big believer in visualization. So whether I talk to my friends about this all the time, in a professional space, I talk about this all the time. This is so powerful. So what you visualize, you realize, right? That's the law of attraction. I also do talk about universal laws a lot in all my other trainings as well. So if that interests you at all, then you will get to learn. I have the 12 foundational, there's so many laws of the universe, but I like to go with the 12 foundational laws of the universe. And obviously the biggest one that most of us know is the law of attraction, because that was made famous by The Secret in, I think, 2006 by Rhonda Burns. So visualization, right? What you visualize, you realize. The subconscious mind, again, back to the 95%er, cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is real. Again, another mind-blowing, powerful, life-changing statement, right? Because if you visualize the life that you want, if you visualize how your business looks when you already have it, you visualize the dream holiday, you visualize the dream romance, relationship, whatever it is, when you spend time visualizing it, the subconscious mind does not know what is real and what is imagined. So what's it going to do? Things are going to change in your external reality that bring you closer to getting that goal. You will achieve that goal when you plug in visualization as one of your tools. Now, the way that you can do this is literally just daydreaming, right? Daydream. Put in your calendar to spend 10 minutes a day. When you wake up in the morning is the best time to do it, because you're still kind of lucid when you're coming out of sleep. And if you just do a visualization, daydream before you get out of bed, or go to YouTube and put on a guided visualization. You can find any of these tools anywhere on the internet for free. Why wouldn't we start using them, right? I love doing guided visualizations because it just takes me to another world. And then I know in my being that one day, quite soon, that will be my reality, right? whatever tool you're using, you need to be consistent. We're taught about this from such a young age, aren't we? Consistency is key. I can't just visualize once a month the dream or the goal that I'm trying to manifest and think that it's going to land on my lap, right? I need to consistently be spending the time visualizing, right? Now, visualization alone is not enough to bring in the desire. There's also so many other laws that you need to follow, but the next thing that would happen is that you need to take inspired action. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today too. You can't just sit on the couch and visualize the dream life and not take action and think, oh, well, that doesn't work, because it won't work that way, right? It's not going to come knocking on your door. Change what you consume. This one is huge. Again, back to eating greens. Whatever you're consuming will ultimately consume you. So if all you eat is fast food, then how do you think that you're going to exit this world? The fast food will consume you and you will have lots and lots of health complications, right? But I'm not just talking about food and nutrition here. I'm talking about anything that your subconscious mind takes in. So, social media, who's guilty of this? Looking at negative things and then suddenly we feel overwhelmed, we feel fear, anything like that. Watching the news. Basically, my advice with the consumption here is turn off the TV altogether. Retrain your algorithm on Instagram to show you the things that uplift you and that you want to follow, right? So you've got to clear out those pages that no longer serve you. Don't follow them anymore. Unfollow them. And there's a lot of that going on right now because there's a lot of conflicting views in the world right now. So it's a great time to just clear off any toxicity off your feed, right? Just, I don't align with that anymore. Move it on. Stop looking at it. Delete that, that friend that you haven't spoken to in the last 15 years that you're just like, why do I have them on my social media? All they do is post negative stuff that puts me into overwhelm. Remove them off. Now is the time. Talking about consumption and what we consume subconsciously. So, social media, what we watch on TV, what sort of music that we listen to. You also need to be aware that you are the average of 5. What does that mean? You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So when I first did this recall on my life, I realized that I needed to make some pretty big changes. Now, this is not just people that you physically spend time with. This is podcasts that you listen to, books that you read, again, social media that you consume. It's whatever is going into the subconscious mind, whether that be physical interactions, people that you're talking with online, podcasts that you listen to, whatever it is, that's how you become the average of 5, right? So my average of 5 now, I've lifted that right up because I don't listen to anyone that talks shit anymore. Literally, all my friends that were low vibrating energies, they're no longer friends. I choose me, and my average of 5 is that I want to be up here, right? I don't want to be down here in this low state anymore. So I made changes. And then again, I see my reality shift as a result. Meditation and hypnosis. Again, jump on YouTube, find a guided meditation, a guided hypnosis, something that you align with. That's how you can start to reprogram your mindset and the subconscious mind, of course, right? As I already said, it's the small compounding changes that you make every day that lead to quantum leaps. And I'm going to talk more about this to explain what that means. And I am just being wary of the time as well. Okay, so the next thing you need to do, now we're talking about the manifestation process at this point. It's time to move forward, right? Obviously, you're here today, you're looking at this because you found that, there is something that maybe you're stuck at, something that you don't like in your life anymore, something that you're trying to go next level with, right? So you need to make space for that next level. You need to clear the data to receive fresh downloads, right? When your computer says memory running low, what do you have to do? Delete stuff that is obsolete that you don't need in your life anymore. files that you don't need or resonate with, because that's how you can receive the fresh downloads. When we talk about downloads, that's again having that connection to your higher self, your intuition, where random thoughts are going to happen and you're going to think that makes no logical sense, but it excites me. That's a download. Okay. Downloads can be like a whole business idea. Downloads can be just how to be better tomorrow. So they can be small and large, just like on your computer, right? Sometimes you do an update and it's a small one, and then you've got a full like reprogram that you need to do as well. So the point is, you can't be carrying around thoughts, beliefs, anything that doesn't serve you and align with you, because you can't receive the fresh stuff that's trying to come in when there's not enough space. Even though as human beings with a soul that is infinite, we still need to clear space, right? It's an ongoing process throughout our lives. Because the reality is, what got you here won't take you there. Ooh, that's a powerful one, isn't it? Right? So whatever got you to here today, whatever tools you use, whatever beliefs, they got you to here. So look at where you are today, as in where you are with your business, your personal relationships, whatever it is that you're trying to better right now and have the breakthrough. They got you here, but they won't take you there, because the next level that you're going to, guess what? You've never been there before. So we can't look back to the past for evidence of something that we haven't created yet in the future, can we? So we need to clear that space, right? It's like trying to climb a mountain with bricks in your backpack. How quick are you going to get to the top? Why are you taking bricks up the mountain? They're absolutely useless and they're slowing you down. So those negative thought patterns or limiting beliefs are slowing you down. Once you let go of them and take the bricks out of the backpack, you'll be at the top of the mountain in no time. This is really, really foundational stuff. And again, if it's the first time that you're hearing it, stick with me. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot. And the day that it clicks in is the day that you will change your life, right? So some of the tasks I'm going to give to you at the end of this day and share with you is how you can basically forgive and move on. So whether that's forgiving yourself or forgiving others, okay? Forgiveness is huge in any sort of personal development and mindset work. Because if you do not forgive and you hold on to resentment, either yourself because you feel like you made a decision that you regret, perhaps, or you're harboring resentment towards somebody else, it's basically like drinking the poison and wishing the other person would die. Right? Metaphorically, of course, we don't wish death on anyone, but that's what it's like. When you're harboring resentment, you are drinking the poison. But when you're harboring resentment to the other person, you're like, well, I'm just going to be resentful and spiteful and hold on to this for the rest of my life. And that should show them. But really, it is only hurting yourself. Okay. The other person probably doesn't care, to be honest. And you shouldn't worry about that. You should just be worried about you. And forgiving you and forgiving them to move on. Doesn't mean you have to have them in your life. If we're talking about a physical person, you don't have to have them in your life, but you do need to forgive them to move on. So again, if that sounds scary right now, don't worry. It sounded scary to me at the beginning too, but once these things start to seep in, it's life-changing, right? So my point of talking about moving forward during this presentation is that 2020 and 2021 are now well and truly over. January's over in a couple of days. And if January felt like it still had the energy of 2021 hanging around, you're not alone. But February is not going to have that feeling. 2022, from February onwards, because we can keep January, we can say January was the 13th month in 2021. This is the time to move forward. So whatever it is, and you know what it is that you're trying to change and you're trying to move forward, it's happening, okay? And it's happening because it starts and begins and ends with you and how you change your mindset. First thing to do that is you need to have a high mood, a positive mood, okay? Because in a low state, you're really going to find it hard to make these changes. So it's all interconnected. Everything is interconnected, right? With all of this work. So my question to you is, what are you willing to let go of? I already said this, but there's no use looking to the past for evidence of something that you haven't created yet. The past got you here, but it's not going to get you to that next level. You haven't been to that next level. You can't see what's up there. You don't know. So those thoughts and beliefs that got you here won't get you there. So it's time to let go and reprogram. If you know the thing that's been holding you back, then you know this is your sign. It's time to let go of it completely, right? Keep your vibration high. So this is what I mean about mood and state and vibration. It's all the same thing, right? Energy. When we're in a high state, we vibrate on a higher level and we attract people that are on a higher level. You know it yourself. When you leave the house and you're looking great, that's why I put my lipstick on today. Because when I put my lipstick on and I'm feeling good and I'm looking good, I'm vibrating really high. And I find when I smile at people, when I walk down the street or I go into the coffee shop or whatever, I have much better interactions with people, okay? Because I'm vibrating at a higher level. When I leave the house, when I don't want to, I put my beanie on, I'm kind of hiding from the world. I might even put my mask on so that I'm just exposing this part of my face. And I walk out in a low state, then I'm not going to have the interactions with other people that I want, right? So it's all about, okay, how can I raise my vibration? If I'm going to do something important, I listen to my favorite song, right? So if I'm pumping myself up to go out or to do a presentation, I listen to my favorite song. It raises my vibration. You'll know, and if you don't yet know, you'll figure out what it is that can raise your vibration. So for me, it's putting on lipstick and it's listening to my favorite song. 2 quickest ways for me to change my vibration in an instant, right? Be, do, have. Now, this is the most important slide. So listen up, take notes here, okay? Also, keeping in mind when you're watching these presentations, either live or you'll get access to the recording, of course. If you do take notes, we do tend to retain the information better and we will start making those changes in our lives. If we just sit there and listen and think that's enough to just let it soak into the subconscious, it's going to help a little bit. But again, it's back to that 5% and that 95%, right? If we're actually taking notes and actively learning and implementing this stuff, that 95% swap is going to happen a lot quicker. So the be, do, have, this is something that I love. This is something that I learned in 2021. And this is something I share with everyone that I meet, anyone that will listen, right? Because when we think of making a change in our life, okay, we visualize, if we go back to that tool, having it. We visualize having it. We skip to the end of the story and we're just like, oh, yes, law of attraction. This is what I want. This is what it's like to have it. And then we wait to have it, right? So we think that when I have this, I'll be this version of myself, right? Or I'll do this extra thing when I have this. Like money's a good one, right? When I'm rich or wealthy or, you know, earning $1 million is when I'll be happy or when I can change the world because I can give back to others or whatever narrative we tell ourselves, right? But if you actually flip that and you start being the $1 million version of yourself today, right now. So who is the $1 million version of myself? And where is the $1 million version of myself going? That's what you need to think about. Who is he or she? And where is he or she going to the next level, right? Because when you're already a millionaire, then you're up leveling from that point, not up leveling from where you are today. You're already embodying the version of the millionaire that you want to be, but you're already her today, right? Or him. That's how you shift your identity. So I am the $1 million version of myself. I show up as her. What does she do? Does she wear lipstick or not? Does she wear earrings or not? What does she dress in? Does she have her pajama bottoms on right now? Who can guess? Right? But again, it's your story. So the $1 million version of you is how you want to show up. You can be a millionaire and still want to wear sweats every single day. Doesn't matter if that's what it looks like to you. But if you want to be the $1 million version of yourself who's wearing designer clothes and shoes or whatever it is, then that's your version and you start showing up as her. That doesn't mean that you just go and drop a whole ton of money on the designer clothes. Do what you have with what you can today, right? But I think that the $1 million version of myself would do her blasting gratitude exercise every morning. She would drink her Nespresso coffee. She would have a routine, showering every day, brushing her hair every day. Again, some just simple things, right? But you need to be the version of the new identity. You need to be that as of now. Not I'll do this when I have. I'm doing this because I am already it, right? Then that's when you take the inspired action. So this is back to the law of attraction, which is visualization and just, your thoughts create your desired outcome. But that's nothing without taking inspired action, right? So whatever the next step is that you need to do, so I'm showing up as the $1 million version of myself, but how am I going to actually make $1 million if I don't start putting my content out there? That's what I'm doing right now, right? I'm following the inspired action, which was to make this webinar, make it free and accessible to everyone who wants to listen to me. And I created the presentation and here I am. So I took the action, right? But I'm acting as if I'm already the $1 million version of me, right? Because to me, at $0 or $1 million, I still want to help as many people as I can. And part of that is I want to always have free content that goes along with my paid content. That's just what's important to me, right? This will look something very different to you, okay? Very important during the do stage is that you only take advice from those that have achieved what you desire. So business, you're not going to take business advice from someone who's not had a successful business. Would you take business advice from someone who went bankrupt and didn't reinvent themselves? Plenty of people go bankrupt and reinvent themselves, but someone who just went bankrupt in their business and then went back to their part-time or their full-time job, no, you would never take business advice from that person. You'll take business advice from someone who's already done what you want to do, right? So again, very important, the doing. Then that's when you get to have it. So it works in reverse to how our brain is trained, right? Then you skip to the end of the story because you've 100% believed in the $1 million version of you. You've embodied it. And guess what? The universe is going to move everything it can to deliver that outcome to you because you're embodying it and you've let go of any attachment to the outcome and you've allowed the how to be a surprise. When I talk about the how, and in upcoming presentations, I will talk about this a lot. The how is not your job. The how of anything that you are trying to create is not your job. You need to come back to the who am I and where am I going? You take the action when you get the downloads, right? You get the inspired action, you get the intuitive nudge, you get the hit to do it. But the how is not your job. So you don't need to think about how, I want to have 100 clients next month, for example. How? I don't need to think about that right now. I'm jumping. I need to think about, well, who would I show up as if I had 100 clients next month? And where am I going? To 100 clients, to then 200 clients, to then 300 clients, whatever it is, right? That's what I need to focus on. The how is not your job. And also, if you knew how, wouldn't you have done it already? If I knew how to get to the $1 million version of myself, wouldn't I already be the $1 million version of myself? Right? It's not your job. Let the universe take care of that. Whoops, wrong way. So, couple of closing up things here. Get specific. As I move forward in talking to you about manifestation, and probably my next webinar will be purely on manifestation, I would say at this point, you need to get specific. And here's a couple of advices on how you can do that, right? How does the GPS know where to take you if you don't input the destination, right? You don't get into your car and say, oh, I just want to be taken to Vancouver, right? It's a big city. You need to put in the exact address, the exact postal code, and then it can take you there. So whatever you're trying to manifest or change in your life, you can't just say, I want to be successful. It's not enough detail. Focus on the what. Again, how's not your job? So focus on the what, the $1 million version of myself. That is the what, right? Details versus feelings. Now, if you attend some of my other courses, you'll get to learn more about this when I dive into human design. But basically, in terms of manifestation itself, there's two types of manifestors on this planet. So we fit into either category. And you'll know probably when I tell you. If you don't, you can shoot me a message and, we can work this out, because I can just ask you a couple of questions, right? So do you obsess over details? So when I manifest, I'm a specific manifester. So what that means is if I'm manifesting a home, I know exactly what it looks like. I know the view that I have. I know how many bedrooms it have. I can see the flooring. I can see my furniture. I can see everything. Now, if that overwhelms you, the thought of, okay, I'm trying to manifest my dream home, that overwhelms you, then perhaps you're probably a feeling manifester, right? So what a feeling manifester does is they skip to the end of the story, as we all are going to do. But instead of knowing all the details, they'll just be like, oh, when I open the door to my dream home, this is what it feels like. I open the door and I just feel successful. I feel like I've made it. It's full of love. I'm living with my dream person, whatever it is, you feel into it. Instead of being specific, which is my way of manifesting, I double down on details, right? So don't get intimidated either way. We can work this out. I'm happy to give you more information on this, but once you know it, it's easier, because then you're like, oh, well, my best friend, like, she's always so specific about what she wants and then she gets it, but that doesn't work for me, because you're probably a feel manifester, right? You're a feeling manifester. So the other thing, when you do know specifically what you want, thank you in advance, right? There's no point saying one day I'll have my dream home. Thank you for my dream home. It's already a done deal, right? Declare it as if you already have it. So thank you for my dream home. That's what I'm declaring. The how is not your job. And briefly, I just wanted to touch on, this might interest some of you, this may not interest you at all, but the point of saying that January is attached to 2021 was not by accident. It's that we do have in the Chinese zodiac, their new year starts February. So this year it's actually February 1st. And we're going to go from the year of the ox to the year of the tiger. So it is a restart, right? We can flip the calendar over and it is a new year of some form, right? So the year of the tiger is super exciting, and I'm really excited about this. So I did just put a little bit of information here to share with you, because the point of saying moving forward in this presentation is that that's literally what this energy is about. 2022 is the time to move forward. It's the time to stop procrastinating on that vision, that goal, that dream, whatever it is you've been meaning to do. The ox kind of did keep us in that procrastination energy a little bit, but with the tiger, it's just all full steam ahead. That means on a world view and on a personal view, right? So you're going to see these changes in your personal life, and probably on a larger scale as well too. It's just time to go ahead, right? Because tiger, the energy surrounding the tiger is ambitious, courageous, enthusiastic, generous, fiercely independent, and strong self-esteem. So if you've been struggling with any of these things in 2021, then look at the energy that you can use here and these key words, and you can take them into 2022, right? So the tiger is also associated with, well, it probably goes without saying, tiger's quite masculine energy, right? It's very active energy. They like to do things their own way, and they hate being told what to do. So again, you've got room and energy supporting you that you can do it your way this year. So maybe you approach something in 2021 that you're like, hey, I think we should do it like this. And maybe your boss or your team told you, no, we can't. And 2022, you reapproach the same thing and you might get your way. Right? So again, the timing could have been off in 2021. So everyone on a collective level is fired up, and they do feel that progress is possible again, right? So again, whatever you were sitting on in 2021, it's now time to make that progress and move forward in 2022. And the energy is supporting you. You don't have to follow the Chinese zodiac to know this. I just want you to know that this energy is here to help you. And again, whatever we can use to go towards our goals in 2022, let's go, right? Some things that you might see. Rapid change. Again, tigers act fast. They see their prey and they are ferocious and they are fast and they get it, right? So rapid change. Things could change literally overnight for some of us, and on a world view as well, which I think is very exciting. It's time to take risks. So again, if you've had this niggling feeling in you for 2020 and 2021, it is time to take that risk, right? This is really, really important. Yes. And thank you, Brooklyn, for your comment. Like, this stuff is so exciting. When I was reading about this, I was like, the year of the tiger is my year, right? This is my time to shine, and it's your time to shine too. So adventure, with those sudden changes, there's going to be lots of adventures that might present themselves. You may find yourself going on an adventure that you've been dreaming about for the last 2 years, right? To be aware though, there is people that will thrive during this time, and there is people that will crash and burn during this time, because fast moving energy doesn't suit everybody, right? So I wanted people to be aware of this, because if there is anyone that is feeling kind of in crash and burn, overwhelmed state right now, then making these changes is your time, because you don't want to miss the boat and come to the end of 2022 and be like, oh, another year passed me by and I didn't make any changes. And now that's when the crash and burn will happen, right? So you can choose to thrive, or you can choose to crash and burn, right? So follow your intuition. Tigers are so intuitive. And I actually am personally, my Chinese zodiac is tiger. That's why I really wanted to talk about this one too. And I always have my beautiful tiger coaster, which I lean my water or my coffee on at my station, because it reminds me that I am a fierce tiger, and I am courageous, and I'm independent, and I'm confident, and I'm all of those things. And every time I look at it, I'm like, yes, I resonate with the energy of the tiger, right? So just a couple of little things there. Use the energy. Again, the calendar resets in 2 days. So what have we got to complain about, really, you know? And then finally, I just wanted to, again, if it's resonated with anyone who's watching this webinar or the recording, that you can dive in deeper with me. I am running another a course starting February 2nd, because I really wanted to harness the energy of the 2nd of the 2nd 222, right? So I've decided to start my 3-day course on that day. The price that I put on that one is $222, but any of my past students, and I will be promoting this on my Instagram for any of my past students, will get a 50% offer on that one. I put some points on the screen as to what I'm going to be covering in that one. And it's going to be going a lot deeper than what I do in the free webinars, where I kind of try and give people just like little tidbits to go away with and make the changes. But with this one, it's going to be going a lot deeper, right? It's going to be getting into removing those blockers. I'll work with you. It's going to be a group course, but then I'll also be working with you in a one-on-one capacity. So I will have a follow-up session with you at the end. And you can choose what that date is, because there's obviously a lot of things to implement once we get to the end of the course. But the point is, I think where a lot of people fall short is there's no accountability, right? So if there's no one to be accountable for, when you when you go through these various online courses, sometimes we just sign up for them, have a bit of a listen, take some notes, but we don't actually take the inspired action, and we don't actually make the changes in our life. So one of my things is that I really keep all my students accountable, and that's kind of how I'm going to offer it. So if you want any more information on that, shoot me a message. I'll be doing this or a version of this throughout the year, obviously, as well. I just really wanted to get started in February because of that tiger energy, right? So if you've made it to the end, well done. Thank you. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I really am excited and passionate, and then I don't stop talking. So, I think it was exactly an hour. So that's amazing. So here's some grow work. So at the end of all of my sessions, again, it's not just like, here's the knowledge, take it or leave it. I always like to set some grow work. It's not homework, because who likes homework? None of us. It's grow work. This is where the growth is going to happen if you do the work, right? Not just take the notes, not just listen to me talk and go, oh, that was inspiring. No, actually do it. So the first grow work is forgiveness. What are you willing to forgive and let go? Who is that and what is that? Journal on it. Talk to yourself about it. Talk to the person about it if they're in your life. They don't need to be in your life so that you can forgive them. Forgiveness is for self, right? And how you can do this, the easiest way and most effective way, is a very famous forgiveness prayer. And it's called the Ho'oponopono. And it's a Hawaiian forgiveness prayer. And this is all it is. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can say that to yourself to forgive yourself. You can imagine the person in your mind that you're forgiving and say that out loud or internally. And it's so powerful. Now, again, like anything, don't expect it to just do it once and then, oh, I'm cleared, I'm forgiven. Sometimes, one day in particular, I sat there and I repeated the Ho'oponopono 40 times. And I felt so free after doing that, because that's how deep the wounds were with that person. And I did it 40 times, right? So again, any of these tools that I'm giving you, they are not just used once, put on the shelf. You pull this out when you need it, when you need forgiveness, right? The next thing is commit to 3 things you can do now to raise your vibration. So after you hang up this call, what are you doing? Are you going to go and hide away in bed and just forget about anything that I've talked to you about? Or, as I said, how I raise my vibration, particularly when I'm getting ready to leave the house and have interactions with other people, is my lipstick, my smile, and what was the other one? My thought just totally left my head there. Oh, listening to my favorite song. That's right. So listening to my favorite song, putting on my lipstick, and instantly I'm going to feel way better, right? Raising that vibration. So what are things that you can do? Maybe you plan to have pizza for dinner, and now after this call, you're kind of like, oh, like what she said about adding greens, right? So maybe you're going to steam up a thing of broccoli and have that with your dinner tonight. Whatever it is, 3 things that you can raise your vibration and do it instantly so that you go into the next week with an instantly raised vibration. Get specific on your goals. I have no doubt that if you're watching this recording or attending this live with me, thank you if you're still here, that you have certain goals that you want to achieve for 2022. And I hope that you took a few nuggets out of what I said today, and you've made some notes on how you can get more specific on them, because the more specific you can be, the quicker that they can come in, right? So revisit those resolutions, goals, intentions, whatever you had for 2022, and double down. Get specific. Oh, and talking of doubling down, that's the next one. Double down on one thing that you love and one thing that you know works for you, and let go of one thing that you know will not serve this new version of you, right? So what's one thing that you love? What's one thing that you love to do? Do you love meditation? Do you love yoga? Do you love exercise? Do you love being in nature? Do you love eating broccoli? But you just haven't, because you've been busy. So you've been eating fast food instead of boiling up your broccoli each night. Whatever it is, what's one thing that you love that you know puts you into a better mood? Double down on that. So do that thing more often. Do that thing every day. If it's just getting a 20-minute walk, double down, right? The thing that works for you to get you into that higher state of vibration, the thing that gets you closer to your goals. I know that if I have a solid morning routine, I achieve much more. So I set my alarm, I get up, I make sure I shower first thing. Like, this sounds simple, but it's hard when you're kind of working from home a lot. It's like making sure that you get in the shower the first thing while the coffee's brewing, at my computer with my lipstick on, even some days just here by myself with my lipstick on, because it makes me feel better for me, right? So doubling down on those things and letting go of one thing that you know won't serve the new version of you. So back to the consumption, right? Is it that you have been watching the mainstream media and you know that does not serve you? The new version of you would not consume that kind of content, right? Maybe it's saying goodbye to your Netflix subscription because you know it distracts you. And the successful business millionaire you doesn't have time to watch Netflix. Maybe that's what it is. Whatever it is that's not going to serve the higher version of you that you haven't created yet, but you are embodying, that's what needs to be let go. It could be a friendship. It could be a friend who's just constantly negative and you just don't have any time for it, because guess what? The $1 million version of you only surrounds themselves with high vibrational, successful people. So you wouldn't have friends like that are constantly negative and victims in their own life, right? I think you get the point. If there's any questions for anyone that's here live, please give me a shout in the chat box. If not, if you're watching the recording, you can shoot me a message on Instagram or an email, and I'm happy to get back to you. If you have any feedback on this or any topic ideas for the next webinar that I do for free, let me know. Thank you so much. Shout out to Brooklyn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Awesome. Brooklyn says, thank you so much. This is wonderful. We're smiling ear to ear the whole time. Awesome. Great. I've done my due diligence for today. I had my goal of just helping one person today, right? So I'm already ahead of the goal. So thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you for the feedback. And yeah, definitely let me know what changes for you this week if you implement the grow work, right? I'd love to hear the stories, because I know how powerful this stuff is, but it's like anything, you have to implement it to see the changes. Okay. So on that note, have a wonderful evening. Get ready to move forward into 2022, year of the tiger, baby, next week. I cannot wait, on a collective level and on a personal level as well. So let's see what it brings, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much.